Hello, welcome to this lesson. Here we're going to begin to talk about the right-click menu in Excel and also the mini toolbar that we use as well. So basically, the right-click menu is a context menu that pops up and gives you a selection of entries that in many cases is very useful. So for instance, let's say I want to insert a row. I have sales and I have overhead, but I forgot that I have a new row that I probably want between sales and overhead. And I just forgot to do that. So clearly I've got this stuff here. What do? Well, I could copy all of these cells and I could paste them down below, and that would free up a nice row there. But I'm guessing that there's a way to insert rows in Excel, and I know that somewhere in this ribbon I can probably find it, but I'm guessing that there might be a context menu. So let me highlight this row and right click, and when I right click I see this little pop-up menu down here, and there's all kinds of things that you can kind of get familiar with as you start using Excel, but I see right now that I'm inserting. I can insert something, and since I've highlighted a row, I'm thinking that inserting that is going to insert that row, and that's exactly what it does. So I can right click it again if I like, and I can insert again, and basically it's going to continue inserting rows there. Now I made a mistake there, let's pretend, so let me go and hit undo. That'll take away the last one. So the right click menu is going to be something you're going to use a lot. So when you're looking for something in the ribbon and you can't find it, if it's a common thing, it's probably going to be in the right click menu. All right. Now the other thing I want to turn your attention to is the right click menu is pretty smart. When I'm highlighting columns, for instance, I see entries here about formatting cells and things like that. When I go to the chart, if I highlight the chart and I right click on the chart, the right click menu is a little smarter. I've got change chart type, I've got save as a template, I can select data, I can move the chart, I can do 3D rotation if I have a 3D chart. So the right click menu is very smart depending on what you're doing. Notice whenever I'm up here, anytime on the ribbon, we've talked about this before, if I right click here, I can add to the quick access toolbar, customize the ribbon, and things like that. All right, now the other thing I want to point out to you is something called the mini toolbar. Let me go and highlight, let's highlight all of this data, for instance. Let me right click on it. We do get the right click pop-up menu, but we also get something above it called the mini toolbar. And again, it's smart in Excel. It's pulling up the font, basically the font selections from the ribbon that I can use here because it knows I'm highlighting some text here. Now you might say, why don't I just use these up here in the ribbon? That's true, but what if I'm using formulas? What if I'm really in a deep project and I'm looking in this engineering stuff and I'm trying to figure out what to do? I'm over here. Well, it might be nice if I just want to do a quick change to the font here to have this mini toolbar that just pops up, and it knows to pop up the font one because I've highlighted a bunch of text here or a bunch of numbers. So if I want to, I can go down here and I can change the font to, something like that, and then I can change the color to, deep orange or whatever, and then I can bold it. And I can do all of that without leaving the formula tab. So yes, you can go back here and do it, but the right click there also brings up the mini toolbar. Now again, that's smart as well. So if I'm highlighting a chart and I right click on it, there's another mini toolbar that pops up here, but this one's different because it knows that I'm trying to deal with a chart here. And so the fill, for instance, I might go here and click that, and then you can see Excel giving me a little preview of what that's going to look like if I accept that. So I look at something like that and I'm like, I kind of like that. Blue on blue looks nice, so I can select that, and then my chart is going to reflect it. So this lesson is a very short lesson. It's just to let you know that you can right click on almost anything in Excel. You can cut, copy, and paste just like typical Windows programs. You can insert columns and rows. If I right click here and insert, then this new column is going to pop up. I'll undo that. I can insert rows right there. I can also delete things. If I like this 655 isn't quite right, I can right click on it and hit delete. Basically does the same thing as deleting with your keyboard, except it gives you a couple of other options we'll get to when we start dealing with cells in specific. It tells you, it's trying to ask you what you want to do with the cells and with the rows after I've done the deletion. So I'll click cancel there. But the right click menu is very useful. The mini toolbar is very useful for quick editing. And so just kind of get familiar with that, go play with it a little bit, and I think you'll find that a lot of common commands are found in the right click menu and in the mini toolbar.